Hello, good afternoon or good evening. Hello, good evening, Ozioma. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I can hear you, sir.
Good evening. How are you doing today?
I'm fine, thank you.
Great. Seems like it's okay. Some persons are just coming in now.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let's just give them like 40 seconds. 40 seconds, and we'll be starting. 40 seconds to admit some persons. All right. Welcome everyone. Welcome Ozioma once again, and welcome Rain and James. Welcome. How are we doing
Thank
today?
you.
Yeah, how are we doing today?
I'm okay.
Hello. I've heard from Ozioma. I need to hear from Rain and James. How are we doing?
Yeah, I'm very well,
Yeah, I'm
thank you.
fine.
Oh,
I'm fine. I'm
great.
doing good.
Nice. All right, great. Welcome, Ike. Good afternoon or good evening. Hello, Ike. Can you hear me?
No,
Ike.
yes, I can hear you. Good afternoon.
Oh, good afternoon, sir. How are you doing today, sir?
Very fine, sir.
All right, I'm great. Nice having you in the session today again. And we'll be starting the session now as we are 11 minutes behind schedule, and that is not a good one on our own end, right? But nevertheless, we'll just kickstart to dive into what we have for today, which will be more of theoretical as parts or theoretical aspects, in preparation for diving into what we have tomorrow, which is analyzing and visualizing data with Power BI, right? For which we'll need to go through data transformation process. And before I continue, I just need to confirm how many of us were able to, complete the assignments that we are given in our previous session. Please, how many of us were able to complete that? How many of us tried out, completing that on our own? Can just use the chat and indicate, or you can unmute your mic to indicate if you did try that out. Okay, so it seems that none of us did try completing that, right? So I have the assignment question on my screen. I currently have the
I'm
assignment
sorry,
question.
I
Okay.
missed the earlier session, so
Okay, so you missed the last session. Okay, that is to say today is your first time of joining us.
yes, please.
Okay. Okay, so we started last week. Saturday, and we did with pivot table, right? And last week Sunday we looked at pivot table as well as a pivot table report, as well as Power Pivot in Excel, for which we built this visualization in our last session. So I will encourage you to try as much as you can to go through the recording, in order to get that right. And if you are confused in any way, you can always reach out to me via LinkedIn, or connect to me on WhatsApp, just for us to schedule when to meet and possibly look into such challenge that you might be faced with, right? So we did created this report in our last session. For those of us that stayed till the very end, right? We created this, right? So and upon that, we were given assignments for which we are meant to complete and submit before this session. But it seems that many of us, or all of us, were busy and we never had a chance to complete it. So notwithstanding, okay, I would say that I wouldn't be visiting this, because I thought that maybe at the course of carrying out this assignment, you might have one or two challenge, right, for which we would need to treat today before diving into what we have for today's session, right? But because we never completed the assignment, I'm not going to take that, right? Because it will just be a repetition of what we did in our previous session. So it won't be good repeating the whole process again. So without wasting much time, let's dive into what we have for today. Once again, welcome to Microsoft Eastern Power Platform Community Meetup session. And today's bootcamp focused on analyzing and visualizing data. Just a minute, let me admit Israel. So today we will be focusing on analyzing and visualizing data with Microsoft Power BI. Wow, people are screening now. All right, so sorry for that. Okay, before I continue, please, I was asking, or I did ask, if we were able to complete the assignment that we received in our previous session. That is for those of us who are just joining us. I don't know how many of us were able to complete the assignment. This was the assignment question, right? And we are given a data set for which we are meant to use to replicate something like this, right? And maybe more advanced, because I have other, detailed dashboard, with built using Excel, but we just did this rough dashboard in our previous session. So I was thinking that we'll even add more beauty, like try to create more reports if we had, try doing the assignment, so that I can build on what we already try completing. But because we didn't attempt or carry out the assignment, I won't be going into this. So you will still need to complete this. Maybe in subsequent session, you can reach out to me, right? So we are saying that today we'll focus on analyzing and visualizing data with Microsoft Power BI, right? And today we'll be having the session 1 for Microsoft Power BI. And I just want us to understand something, because I came to the understanding that some of us are just new to this tool, and some of us who have known Excel might not really know some certain things. So it's one thing acquiring the skills, and it's another thing, knowing what to do with the skills, or knowing what it all entails. So, and as such, we'll be looking at some theoretical aspects with regards to data analysis, and to to be specific, I will be looking at data analyst, right? Roles and tasks of a data analyst. So our guiding principle remains respect. We must have respect for each other. One class is key to achieving our set goal. You need to mute your mic when you are not talking. When you are not asking questions, please mute your mic, and we'll probably try as much as you can to ask questions when you are not clear about a subject, right? So punctuality is key. I guess we are 18 minutes late, right into a session or 10 minutes thereabouts late. So we just need to be punctual for tomorrow's session. It's very key because the person who will be taking tomorrow's session wouldn't give time like I did today, wouldn't give extra time like I did today. So let's try. So this is me. For those of us who are just joining, I'm Samson Obasi, a data and content analyst at Gibran Consulting, a Microsoft certified trainer, and those are my handle. So for the recording, for the session recording, you can check that on YouTube, right? So, but I'll be sending us the link so that we can easily locate that, right? So for today's session, we'll be looking at understanding data analysis. Like I said, it's one thing for you to acquire or have a working knowledge of the tool which data analysts use. Excel, we have Excel, we have Power BI, we have Tableau, and other tools, right? But for this our bootcamp, we're focusing on Excel, for which we looked at one part, and for the remaining session, we'll be looking at Power BI, right? And now I want us to note something, please. There's a change in our schedule. We've earlier, scheduled these our sessions to be ending, I think, 4th of December, but as against that, we'll be ending 27th of this month for some certain reason. So as such, the way we've programmed the session, there is a little bit of adjustment, right? And we'll be very fast with a number of things. So just bear with us and try as much as you can to remain focused. Ask questions where you're not clear, clear about anything, and we'll achieve our set goal. Right, so understanding data analysis, we'll be looking at understanding data analysis, components of data analysis. We'll be looking at the tasks of data analyst, right? We'll be looking at the tasks of data analyst, and we'll probably be looking at understanding of Power Query, understanding of Power Query and Power BI features, understanding of fundamental data rule for reporting. So those reports that we've created using Excel, right? We created some, reports in Excel, right? Using Power Pivot and Pivot Table in Excel. So there are certain rules that our data followed for us to achieve that. If our data had broken any of the rules that is required, we wouldn't have achieved this report that we built using Excel in our previous session. So we'll be looking at that. Why we didn't start with that in when we started this this session or this program was because we wouldn't want to leave some of us confused. We just want a situation whereby, oh, you have a taste of it, and we now explain, okay, if you don't do this, this will definitely happen, or you will get a different result for which you can easily relate to because you've passed through the process. But had it been we disclosed this earlier on, some of us might get it mixed up. So looking at data rules for reporting, understanding various ways of getting data with Power BI, right? Demo on how they take data and step for cleaning dirty data, question and assignments, right? I guess we won't have assignments for today's session. So, and that is it. Let me admit someone. Okay, that is it. So, as we start, understanding data analysis. So, understanding data analysis. Please, all this thing I'm going to say, this our session is very, very key because if you get the working knowledge of the tool without understanding these things, for me, it's useless, right? Because you must surely have a proper understanding of this thing for you to have a pass mark, with the knowledge that, with the skill knowledge that, or the working knowledge that you'll be, getting from this session. So, understanding data analysis. understanding data analysis. Let me start by saying that your journey of, your journey as a data analysis, or your journey of telling story, of telling a story with data as a data analysis, also tied into building data culture within such organization or such industry that you find yourself. Please, before I proceed, if at any point you can't hear me clearly, call on my attention immediately, please. Just call on my attention immediately so that I can change my network, right? Because if there is a breach in my network consistently, it won't be a good one, when you go through the recording, and it won't be a good one for you to catch up with what I'm trying to communicate. So that is it. So I said that, let me just admit someone. Okay. So I said that your journey of telling a story with data also ties into building that data culture within such organization that you find yourself. While telling, the story is important, where such story is told is also crucial, ensuring that the story is told to the right, people within that or within such organization, right? You would need to also be sure or make sure that people can discover the story and can also relate to such story that you are telling with your data by virtue of clarity. So you shouldn't create a report that people would need to call you for you to explain what story you are trying to tell. By the end of this session, I just want us to bear in mind that we should have a similar stuff like this, if not exactly or more than. Can you see my screen? So this is a Power BI report, right? This is a Power BI report. I've done some trick at the back end, and I click on any of this region, the whole report updates. So this is same data set that we use in creating this visual in Excel. This report that we created in Excel is same data set that we've used in creating this in Power BI. So, but you see the difference in Power BI. You can easily create with simple drag and drop and the like, due to the different visuals made available to you, right? So at the end of this session, we should be able to create similar stuff or same or even more than, So please, let's just remain focused. So for us to, in line with what I just said now, for us to, tell story, or why telling story with our data, we must tell such story in such a way that it would be very clear to people. If I should send this report to any of us now, we should know, while looking at it, depending on what you filter, what you slice and dice this data with, right? You should understand, your understanding should be similar or same with some other person. You guys shouldn't be looking at same filter, right? And be giving different interpretation. So when you create your report, when you try to tell story with your report, you should create your report and tell such story in a way that it will be very clear. Now, data analysis exists to help, let me say that it exists to help, overcome the challenge of making data-driven decision across organization, across firm, ultimately assisting business in finding insights and uncovering hidden value in their data through storytelling. That is one power of a data analyst. The ability to create, the ability to tell story with data that will give insight or that will help in making informed data-driven decision. So it's very key for you to understand this thing as a data analyst. right? It's very, very key for you to understand this thing as a data analyst. Looking at, hello? Someone trying to say something? Hello, Mr. Ike? Okay, I guess that is not for us. So let's just continue. Sorry for that. So, looking at the overview of data analyst, let me say that before data can be used to tell a story, right, it must run through a process that makes it usable in the story. Now, data analysis, let me put simply that data analysis is the process of identifying, cleaning, transforming, and modeling data, right, to discover meaningful and useful information. Let me say, that this data will then be crafted into a story.
Please come again with your definition.
Okay, I said that before data can be used to tell a story, I'm trying to like take it slow, so don't mind me please, because I just want to take it slow so that we get it right. Before data can be used to tell a story, what do I see? It must run through a process, we said that it must run through a process that makes it usable in the story. How do I mean? Say that data analysis, let me put simply, that is the process. Data analysis is the process of identifying, cleaning, transforming, and modeling data to discover meaningful and useful information in your data. Data analysis is the process of identifying, cleaning, transforming, and modeling data to discover meaningful and useful information in your data. I said that this data is then crafted into a story through reports for analysis to support the critical decision-making process within the organization. We know virtually all of us, even as an individual, we all have data. Organization, governments, home, like everybody, the world is made up of data. You can only tell, what has happened over time by getting that insight from what you have, from the data you have. If you want to tell how Nigerian election has been over the years, right, we definitely need data, whether qualitative data or quantitative data. But in our case, we are working more using both quantitative as well as qualitative, right? So you would need data to understand what has happened. You want to predict, you need data, because for you to tell what will happen, you need to record the past. You need to investigate what has happened. You need to understand what has happened in the past. You need to understand what is happening now. How does it link to what is happening now? And with that, you will be able to say or predict what would possibly happen in the nearest future at a particular point in time, right? So now let's look at the components of data analysis. I would say that while the process of data, you said? Hello?
I'll ask them is like I can't see your screen.
Oh, you can't see my screen. Please, can someone else confirm if they can see my screen?
I think it's her network.
It's
You said?
network.
My
I can
network.
see.
Oh, okay. Let me leave and rejoin.
Screen.
Oh, sorry, I didn't get that. I don't know. Is it from me or from her, please?
From
I
her.
think
I
it might
think
be
From her.
Okay,
join.
so Ren, you would need to leave and rejoin the session. Just try leave and rejoin. Sorry for the challenge. So let's look at the okay, she's joining. Component of
Yes,
data analysis. Okay, all right, great. So, while the process of data analysis focuses on the tasks of cleaning, modeling, analyzing, and visualizing data, right? The concept of data analysis and its importance, I would say, to business cannot be overemphasized. Just a minute, let me admit someone. Luis Njob, okay. Cannot be overemphasized, right? To analyze data, there are core components of analytics, which are divided into the following categories that I'm going to enlist for us. First, we have the descriptive analytics, the diagnostic analytics. We have the predictive analytics. We equally have the prescriptive analytics as well as the cognitive analytics. So this dashboard that we are seeing here speaks to some of these things that I've just made mention of, right? So, but we shall look into these things that I've listed in details. Now, persons joining, going off and on. So the descriptive analytics. You will agree with me that what we did in our previous session was a descriptive analytics because we were using the data that we already have, we got the data that we already have, try to understand what has happened over time. Let's say that our manager, we are in year 2015. And we need to understand how our sales, how our business performed in year 2014, or let's say we are in 2015, or we are in 2022 in the recent, right? We need to understand what happened because we only have two annual sales data, right? We've created our dashboard, we've created our reports. We need to understand what really happened, which of the region in Nigeria gave us the highest revenue in the year 2014. We can easily, know that by selecting our visual 2014, and we see here that Northeast, you can see my screen, Northeast gave us the highest revenue of 12 billion, over 12 billion, right? And the region that gave us the lowest revenue was North Central. You can see that, right? If we go to 2015 and we want to understand what really happened, wow, in 2015, Northeast gave us 6 billion, while the region that gave us, the lowest revenue was North Central. Now, one will see how if we dive into details to know the stores, the bottom stores that perform low or the stores that perform low in this region, right? Let's say we want to drill down to know, okay, which stores, let's see, and the stores under this North Central, right? We just go here, click North Central, here's North Central, click North Central, right? We want to drill down to know what really happened. Let's see, okay, the stores that are even performing well in North Central. We have Kuje store, followed by Buare, Adiv, Gugwalada, Abaji, right? These are the stores, top 5 stores. And the bottom 5 store, we have the bottom, Okay, these are the bottom 5 stores. While the top 5 stores, we have Ade, Wari, Kuje. So this region, this place have, the top 5 stores. And you see the revenue. Here we have fifth. We have our revenue here, right? Over years. Let's unfilter. We have our revenue as against what we have here as well, right? So you can further drill down to know what has happened. This is what we call descriptive analytics. Now, to put simply, let's put simply, I always say that descriptive analytics helps answer the question about what has happened based on historical data. Descriptive analytics helps answer the question about what has happened based on historical data. Let me also say that this descriptive analytics technique summarizes large data sets, right, to describe outcome to stakeholders. An example of descriptive analytics per se is what we have here. And to add, I would say that it's involve the art of generating reports to provide an overview of an organization's sales and financial data over time. What we have here was the data pertaining to an organization, want to know how their sales and financial this thing was over years, right? We had this our raw data. Here is our raw data. Here's our raw data. These are raw data. This was what the raw data that we used, right? This was the raw data that we were given. And out of it, we created this dashboard, right? And this one that we created using Power BI, right? This sample reports that we'll be creating in this session, this program, before the end of this session or before the end of this program, which is next week Sunday. We are ending next week Sunday. We should have this created in a session or more than, right? Adding other features which are currently updated in Power BI. So we've looked at descriptive analytics. Recall I said the component of data. We are looking at the component of data analytics. The component of data analytics. The component of data analysis, right? We looked at the descriptive analytics. Let's look at the diagnostic analytics. The diagnostic analytics, without wasting more time, because I want us to close early enough today, right? 5:20, 5:30, we are done with today's session, I promise. 5:20, 5:30, we are done. So now the diagnostic analytics, right? I would say that the diagnostic analytics help answer questions about why events happen. While the prescriptive analytics, tends to use historical data to understand what has happened over time, the diagnostic analytics helps answer questions about why events happen. These techniques, let me say, supplement the basic descriptive analytics, and they use the findings from prescriptive analytics to discover, the cause of this event. Let's go back. These are descriptive analytics, right? We said that it helps answer questions about what has happened based on historical data. What has happened? Now, these are our reports, right? These are our reports. Let me unfilter. And this all time, let's filter for 2014. Now, 2014, we have North Central giving us a total of over 12 billion naira, right? We need to know, okay, what did we do right? What happened that North Central, right, has the highest, Northeast has the highest revenue generation? What happened? What did we do right? What really caused this? We've done this, we've created this report. This is what we call descriptive. By drilling down to understand, okay, to know what really happened, what influenced this, what led to this. We are trying to diagnose, right? To know what really happened here. And what did we do wrong here? Probably as an organization, we had same policy across, we have seen program across different regions. But at the end of the financial year, we discovered that some region outperform some other region. Now we need to understand, we need to investigate to know what we really did right in some region and what we really did or what didn't work in some region. So you are trying to investigate. Whatever you are doing as a data analyst ties into this. You would need this. You would definitely do this. With this report now, since we've created this report, this makes no meaning, or this have no meaning if we don't gain insight using this report. If we don't gain insight into our data using this report that we've created, it makes this report is useless. So that is what I want us to understand, please. That is what I want us to understand. So let's proceed. Let me take that again. I said that the diagnostic analytics helps answer question about why events happen. Why events happen, right? Why events happen. Let's go ahead to see the other component, which is the predictive analytics, trying to predict, right? Try to predict as a data analyst. You would definitely at a point, try to advance. You need some other models. You need to understand some certain tool that you will use to achieve this. But an understanding of this at this point in time is very key to further advance, in the field. So I said that prescriptive or descriptive asks what has happened over time. The diagnostic asks the question, why did event happen? Now, the predictive analytics helps answer question about what will happen in the future. The predictive analytics helps answer question about what will happen in the future. Now, this technique uses historical data to identify trend and determine trend and pattern and determine if they are likely to recur. Like I said earlier, record the past. That is what, in academic field, talking about political science, most political scientists are not politicians per se. So most of them can easily tell, political scientists can easily tell how some persons has even seen what 2022 will be for Nigeria, right? For those of, because next year is the election year, general election year, right? You as as a layman, like as a social person, cannot really tell what will happen. You can tell to an extent, but political scientists will be looking at some variables, looking at some things, or they will be able to tell what will happen based on their understanding of what has happened in the past, what is happening now. They can tell which political party candidate will emerge victoriously, Some might even tell you that so candidate is going to be pronounced the winner of the February election. But at the long run, so candidates will eventually emerge, based on, certain things, maybe based on court order or for any other reason that they might be given. So, to put simply, I will recap by saying that predictive analytics helps answer questions about what will happen in the future. This technique uses, I said that this technique uses historical data to identify trends and patterns, to determine if they are likely to recur. The tool provides valuable insight into what might happen in the future. That is it for predictive analytics. We've taken 3 out of the 5 or 6 components of data analysis. Let's look at prescriptive analytics. As a data analyst, you need to understand all this, right? Because that is the only way you can build a report, you can create a report, you can work efficiently and productively, right? You can create something that will add value. People create reports. Anybody can acquire these skills, but the difference between you and those persons will be, okay, the information or the insights that what you've created is able to give, the problem that you're able to solve, not just creating, trying to create something, but what are you looking at? What are you addressing? What did you identify? What insights are we gaining from what you've done? So that is it. Now, looking at prescriptive analytics, I would say that it answers or helps answers the question about which action should be taken to achieve a goal or target. You are sick. Mr. A is sick. Mr. A is sick, and person go to Mr. A and visited the doctor, and the doctor diagnosed, some certain things, and based on that, the doctor then will prescribe, some things that he or she need to do, or drugs that he or she need to take, or Mr. A need to take in order to recover or to gain his health back. So in the same vein, we are looking at prescriptive analytics. I said that it helps answer questions about which action should be taken to achieve the target goal. Now we have a target goal. Let me look at this. Now we have a target. Can you see this Power BI report? This Power BI report, we have a target. What is the time? Let me see. Okay, still have time. We have a target of, we need each region, right? We need each region to give us the sum of 82 billion per annum. Now, our target as organization is 300 billion. And for this, we've set a target for all the region they must meet. Now, let's see how this region we are able to meet the target, or how they were able to, or how they were able to meet the target or not. Let's see if they were able to meet the targets or not. Now, if we go, let's see year 2014. Year 2014, right? You can see that our total revenue as organization was 48 billion, nothing close to the 300 billion that we have here. Nothing close to it. Okay, now if we let's see year 2015, let's see. Year 2015, we had 49 billion. 49 billion. Fine. Let's unfilter the year and see over time for the past 2 years, right? I guess we have data for 2017 as well, up to 2017. Let's see. Over time, let's say in the past 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, right? In the past 5 years, right? Or for 5 years, we set a target revenue as a firm that in the next 5 years, right, we should have 300 billion as our revenue. And for us to achieve this, each of the region must give us 82 billion for the next 5 years, right? For the next 5 years. Now, how did we achieve this? And we are in year 2020, right? Let's say we are in year 2020, no data. Yeah, 2020, we don't have data. 2019, 2018, 2017, 2016, 2014, 2015 and 2014. That is 6 years, right? 6 years. Now let's see North Central to see how North Central perform. Here we can see that North Central over the past 5 years was only the North Central region is only able to give us 82 billion out of 25 billion out of the 82 billion targets that we had set for that. What about Northeast? Okay, Northeast gave us 74 billion as against 82, right? How about Northwest? Northwest gave us 32. Southeast, let's see Southeast. Southeast gave us 42. South gave us 48, and Southwest gave us 63, right? Southwest gave us 63 billion. So with this now we can try to investigate. When we try to invest, we can further investigate, further drill down to know what happened that North Central was the region that has the lowest revenue contribution. And once we've identified what the challenge is, we can further prescribe. We can further prescribe the measure that North Central can take in the next, let's say, 5 or 10 years, in order to ensure that they meet up with such targets that will be set for them. So that is what prescriptive analytics does, trying to suggest way forward, what action you must take, right, in order to solve the challenge that you currently have. So that is it. Now let's look at the cognitive analytics, which is the last on our list. The cognitive analytics. The cognitive analytics. Say that cognitive analytics, right, attempts to draw or drive conclusion based on existing knowledge and then add these findings back into the knowledge base for future inferences. The cognitive analytics attempts or draw conclusion. Let me say the cognitive analytics draws conclusion based on existing knowledge and then add the findings back into the knowledge base for future inferences, for future suggestions and the like. I would say that this analytics process, that is the cognitive analytics, helps you learn what might happen if circumstances change. and as such determine how you might handle this situation. The cognitive analytics help you learn what might happen if circumstances change. And as well, and as well determine, how you might handle this situation. So you've gone through all this process, the cognitive process. Now you are in the cognitive process. You are thinking through the mental process, you trying to understand, you've understood, the prescriptive, the descriptive, the diagnostic, the predictive, the prescriptive. Now you are in the cognitive. You've passed through that process. Now you're in the cognitive. You need to understand, okay, what action will you take, and how, or what will you do if so expectation, haven't applied the prescriptive mode or the suggestion given by the prescriptive analytics, right? And let's say for God no reason, you still not get the expected results. You've gone to the doctor, you visited, Mr. A visited the doctor, the doctor prescribed some medication, and Mr. A tried, carrying out the medication, and along the line, or at the end, hello,
Okay, where's the money? You don't have money in this life.
hello, Emmanuel, sorry, please, you will need to mute. Thank you. Sorry, mute. Thank you. Hello, Emmanuel, can you hear me? Oh, thank you. So, along the line, let's say at the end or before you even wait to the end, you would need to think through, okay, what if, okay, I have exam next week. I'm down this week. I visited doctor today. I've been down since the last 2 days. I visited the doctor today. My exam is coming up on Monday or next week, Friday. Now, I'll be thinking, the doctor has prescribed some drug, today for me. Now, if I should take all those things and, carry out some activity that the doctor asked me to, carry out, what if I don't recover or regain my health before Friday? What will I do? That is what the cognitive analytics is talking about. We said that the cognitive analytics help you learn what might happen if circumstances change. If Mr. A don't regain his health before next week Friday, that he has an exam, right? What will happen? So that is what the cognitive analytics does. Just to recap, I think we should end there. Just to recap, on the components of data analytics, I would say that we have talked about the descriptive analytics. We've looked at the diagnostic analytics. We've looked at the predictive analytics. We've looked at the prescriptive analytics, and we've looked at finally the cognitive analytics, right? Please, if there is any question with regards to this, you can let me know. But all these are very much important as a data analyst, right? Now, let's look at the rules in data analysis. The rules in data analysis. Oftentimes, I've had many conversations with people, I would say that a lot of people keep reaching out to me, even on LinkedIn, because LinkedIn is the only social media that I would say is it's a learning platform and a professional platform. So that's always on, right? In short, in fact, my presence on LinkedIn is more than WhatsApp. oftentimes I see some report, I see something, some persons ask me question. You see about, career paths in data science, right? What step do they need to take, in order to get fulfillment as a data scientist, right? And you see these persons trying, or you find out, you see these persons, carrying out some learnings that are relevant to data engineer. Some of them carry out learnings that are relevant to database administrator. Some persons will meet me and will be like, or chat me up and will be like, oh, they saw my this thing and kinikon, and the like. That's okay. They want to be a data analyst, but they are currently doing this course and that course. As a data analyst, you just want to dive into the field. You are just starting up, and you are already going through, things meant for data scientists, and you think you have, a good understanding. It's not done in any field. For you to, excel in any field, you must have proper understanding of that field. It's very key. You must have proper understanding of that field. So, roles in data analysis, we have the business analyst, we have the data analyst, and we have the data engineer, we have the data scientist, and we have the database administrator. The components that are disclosed to us, this guy is here, this guy, data analyst, data scientist. In short, these guys can't do without those, right? They are in one way or the other involved in those components that have, disclosed to us. Most especially this guy. When you talk about the predictive analytics, right? But as a data analyst, right, you are more advantageous in the sense that you need some of the skills, or most of the skills of data scientists. You might not need that of database administrator or data engineer, but as a data analyst, you need to know some of the tools, the working knowledge of the tools that a data scientist uses. Now, as a data analyst, you can function as a business analyst to a large extent, depending on how well you've prepared yourself. While in most cases, a business analyst cannot carry out, the tasks of a data analyst. But a data analyst, to a large extent, can carry out the tasks of a business analyst. Now, you discover that in most organizations in contemporary time don't want to hire, a business analyst as well as a data analyst. Some organizations are just looking out for a data analyst who will stand, or who will also function as a business analyst. Now, as against hiring, a data analyst and pay the person, let's say 500,000 naira per month, right? And I'll still go ahead as a firm, or we will still go ahead as a firm to hire a business analyst, and still pay the person, let's say 450,000 a month, right? 450,000 a month, pay a business analyst and pay a data analyst 500,000. Let's say, that is in total, you are giving these guys 950,000 per month, right? We can decide to, reduce cost and still get that same value that we want by just hiring a single person, by just getting a single person, which is the data analyst. Now, the criteria for getting a data analyst will be, we equally include some of the functions, or we'll be looking at for those activities that a business analyst is carrying out, and ensure that whosoever that we are hiring as a data analyst has that capability, or has the ability to carry out same function, as well as his primary function. So as we proceed, we would need to concentrate for the purpose of this program. We will be looking wholly at the role of a data analyst. I'll be concentrating on data analyst. Now we said that, or we are looking at the roles in data analysis. Please don't confuse this. The roles in data analysis, right? And going forward, I said that we'll be concentrating on the role or task of a data analyst. So now, let me put simply, or let me just start by saying that a data analyst enables businesses to maximize the value of their data assets through visualization and reporting tools such as the Microsoft Power BI, which we'll be looking at, the Microsoft Power BI, Excel, we have Tableau, we have many other, BI too, right? Business intelligence too. So a data analyst are responsible, or data analysts are responsible for profiling, cleaning, and transforming data. Their responsibility also include designing and building, scalable and effective data model. Their responsibility include cleaning and building scalable and effective data model. Let me further put that they enable and implement the advanced analytic capability into reports for analysis. That is a data analyst. And a data analyst work with, the pertinent stakeholders, to identify appropriate and necessary data and reporting requirements within the firm. And then they are tasked with turning such raw data into relevant and meaningful insight for the organization that they work for. To put simply, I would say that a data analyst is also responsible for the management of Power BI assets, including reports, dashboard, among others, right? As time goes on, you will know about all these things, or for some of us who are familiar with this thing, we can easily relate with them, right? So looking at the tasks of a data analyst, right? The tasks of a data analyst. So we promise to close by max 5:30, right? 5:20, 5:30. So I'm checking the time to ensure that I keep to that. So the task of a data analyst, right? Task of a data analyst. One, it involves preparing data, modeling data, analyzing, visualizing, and managing data. These are the tasks of a data analyst. These are the tasks of a data analyst. And having looked at this, and we would need to now look at what Power BI really entails, as well as other features inclusive, right? Now, what is Power BI? What is Power BI? We have heard of Power BI. Power BI. Power BI, we know in our previous session, we stated that BI means, simply means business intelligence, right? Business intelligence. So Power BI is a data visualization and business intelligence tool that converts data from different data sources to interactive dashboard and BI reports. This is what we have here. Let me filter this so that we can just see that. So this is just a simple dashboard, right? This is a simple dashboard. This is your smart narrative, narrative, about what has happened based on what you selected. So we have other reports here. You have other, what is it called? Dashboard or reports. We have other reports, and yeah, that is it. So we have this, right? You can see my screen. We have this. So that is it. So going back to our dashboard, let me bring in this person. Going back to our dashboard. Okay, so we said that Power BI is a data visualization and business intelligence tool that converts data from different data sources to interactive dashboard and business intelligence reports, right? We can further state that it can connect, or Power BI has the ability to connect to hundreds of data sources. So, right? So let's go. This is Power BI, right? And these are get data. All this will be explained tomorrow. All these features and interface, everything will be properly explained, right? Because we'll be starting from a blank Power BI, right, tomorrow. So these are some of the data source that Power BI can connect. We can get our data from Excel, which we use in creating our report, right? We got this data from Excel. You can connect to SharePoint, you can connect to other data sources, right? So we have hundreds of data sources that Power BI has the ability to connect to. So this is wasting much time, and yeah, these are the different data sources, right? You can go to file, you see this, go to database, we have this, right? You have this scroll, over 300 of them, right? So, and so on. So you can further investigate, and that is it. So these are some of the data source that Power BI has the ability to connect to. Some of the data source. These are some of the data source that Power BI has the ability to connect to. We have Excel, we have your Facebook, we have your Twitter, you have other sources, right? You can connect to. You can go get data on World Bank, or World Bank, what is it? Many other sources, all right? I can't really recall. You can get data from online and the likes, right? So that is it. Those are the data sources for which Power BI can connect to, among others. Now let's look at the data rules for creating reports. There are some certain rules that our data must follow in order for us to create reports. For us to be able to create this report, right, there are some rules that our data, this is our raw data, here's our raw data, this is our data, comply to. This our data is following certain rule currently. It's following certain rules. That was why we were able to create the reports that we created. Now, I want to open a sample of dirty data for us. Dirty data. This is a dirty data. If I give you this now, say you should create reports, can you achieve that? Certainly no. You can never achieve anything with this report without first ensuring that our report or the report follows the rules as expected, right? or comply with those rules. See this is a raw data. If I should send you this now, say you should create reports, and you go ahead to start creating reports, connecting to this and start creating reports without first cleaning, that is transforming the data, I assure you that you will never get the expected results, right? So that is what we'll be looking at here. So for us to achieve this our report, this our data complied with certain rules. And what are those rules that our data complied with? One, we say you must have, you must not have empty column. There must not be empty column within your data set. Empty column. So one of the data sets that I shared with us, I shared a file with us, right? I earlier shared a file with us. And one of the files says data rule broken. Data rule broken. That is the title for one of the files that I sent to us. Now, we have two sheets, wrong and correct, right? Wrong and correct. We have 11 minutes to go, max. 10 minutes to go. So let's be fast. Wrong and correct. So now here in this data, well, let's go back to our rule. We said no empty column. By empty column, what do we mean? I know some of us will be, might be familiar with this, and some might just be hearing this for the first time. And as such, let me just quickly demonstrate. By empty column, we mean this. This is an empty column. If I click my cursor here and click on my control down arrow key, watch where I go. I'm at the bottom of the Excel, right? I'm currently at the bottom of the Excel, which is this. So let me do that again. Let me go back. Sorry. Let me go back. So by empty column, we mean this, because there's nothing here. You see, there's nothing here, right? But if I come here, this is a full column, right? This is a full column. And if you check this count, do you see this count? Do you see this count here? Can you see where I'm roving my mouse? We have 30,800 what is it called, rows of data. This is a count of row. Over 30,800. Let's see. Control down. You see it? We have 30,800 rows of data. But now, if we come here and click here, do you see? You have nothing. It's not showing any count because there's nothing. But if we do here, let's see here. You see, it's showing 30,800. The rows, but in the recent, we have 30,801 row currently highlighted. But what it's saying is only 30,800 because in this row, there is no data. So you must not have this empty row in your data. Secondly, because we'll be treating this tomorrow in detail, I won't want to go deep into it. Secondly, you must not have any empty, no empty column, no empty row. Now, see empty row. This is what we mean by empty row. Do you see this? This is totally empty. No empty row. But in a situation whereby you have something here, let's say you have Abaji here, and there's nothing here, there's nothing here, it's fine. This table currently has only empty column. If you talk about empty row, this row, but this data in the recent does not have empty row because there's data here. But if I should take out this Abaji here, if I should delete it, this table currently has empty row as well as empty column, right? I do, as well as empty column. But in a situation whereby I type in something here, right? This table no longer have empty row or empty column. So that is it. That is what we meant by empty row and empty column. So you must not have empty row nor empty column in your data. So all dates must be in a single column. All dates must be in a single column. That is very important. You see, all your dates must be in a single column. But in this our case, let's go to our data. This is our data. Okay, let's see this. Our data. Here's our dates. Let me look for the one that has. Okay, let's check this data. This data. Yeah, has all our dates, right? Has most of our dates here. But if you check inside this data, you will still see dates. I can't start looking for it, but tomorrow we'll dive into that and we'll see that. So all dates must be in a single column. If you have your dates going across columns, right? Across column, it's highly unacceptable. You just need to have all your dates in a single column, right? And that is what our clean data have. All our dates goes into a single column. Now, let's look at the third one. It said every unique data type must have its own column. Every unique data type must have its own column. Every unique data type must have its own column. What do we mean? Year must be in year, store must be in store, service line of business must be in line of business column, everything pertaining to that. You must not have line of business here, service plan, printer sales parts, and you now come, if you come to trade dates or dates column, you will now be seeing service plan inside here. Any of these items found under line of business, you shouldn't see them anywhere in this your data apart from anywhere in this your table again apart from them. So every unique data type, insofar as they are families, right, group them, they should be in one column. So they should be in one column. An example is this. What we have here is a total dirty data. So all these are revenues ought to be in a single column, not scattered across column. So what we have here now, you see our data is in a single column. This is what we ought to have and not what we have there, right? That is it. No empty column, no empty row. All dates must be in a single column. Every unique data type must have its own column, right? No total or subtotal in your data. I see some people try to create reports, they connect to something that has total and subtotal. I tell you, you will be giving the most inaccurate report at the end. There's no two ways about it. So you must ensure that during your data preparation process, for which you'll be looking at tomorrow, because we'll be working with Power Query, you must ensure that you do away with totals and subtotal in your data, right? Now, no obstruction around your data. That is also key, right? And only one row of heading is allowed. Only one row of heading is allowed. This is what we mean by one row of header. I'm currently highlighting it. This is what we mean by only one row of header is allowed. These are the rules that your data must follow in order for you to have accurate reports, right? So only one row of header is allowed. Now, if you look at this, we have two rows of header. We have ABIA, we have copy and sale. We have ABIA total, we have FCT, and we have copy and sale. Here we have FCT total. Here we have Adamawa, we have copy and sales parts and the like. These are highly unacceptable, right? So, and that is it for data rule. These are all the rules that the 7 rules that your data must follow, right? For reporting. Now, for us to achieve any report, for us to achieve that, there's a tool called Power Query that you must use to achieve that, right? You have other data preparation tool, but we are working with Power Query. So Power Query is the tool that we'll be using to clean or transform our data. we say that Power Query is a data transformation and data preparation engine. It is used to extract, transform, and load data into your reporting tool for analysis. For us to clean this data and load it to Power BI in order to achieve this, in order to carry out this analysis that we just have here, right? We use a tool called Power Query to do that, to achieve that. We equally say that Power Query allows you to set up a query once and then reuse it with a simple refresh. So that is one power of Power Query. Power Query allows you to set up, allows you to set up query once and then reuse it. That is the beauty of Power Query. So that is it. And we've looked at simple sample of dirty data, and this is it. I've used this sample of dirty data to show us, right? To show us what it's like, right? And that is it. That is it. So, and that is it for today's session. And yeah, tomorrow we'll be looking at how we can use Power Query to clean this data. We have Power Query in Excel and we have Power Query in Power BI, right? We'll be looking at how we can use Power Query in Power BI to clean our data. And I believe that all of us here have Power BI installed in our computer that we'll be using for tomorrow's session, right? I believe that we all have it installed, and let's Hello? Hello?
Yeah, I'm yet to install that on my system, please.
Okay, you are yet to install that on your system. All right, so I'll be sending us a link. Promise, I won't promise today because I will need to be on transit after now. I'll be sending us a link to download Power BI tomorrow, please. For those of us who haven't downloaded Power BI, let's try as much as we can to download that with the link which I'll be sharing with us tomorrow. And let's try as much as we can to join the session early enough, right? So that should we have any challenge, I can look into that before the session kickstart, because I won't be the one to take tomorrow's session. I see a friend and a colleague who will be taking this session tomorrow, and I just hope that most of us don't miss out the practical aspect, because this data preparation is key. You can easily create a report as we've seen in the previous session, just connected, create, but there is something you must do for you to achieve that. The data that we worked with in our last two sessions was a clean data. Now we will be looking at how we can clean dirty data, because most time you would need to clean your data before you can report. You can create any report. Whatever data that you'll be getting subsequently will be dirty data from your organization or from whatever organization that you are working, right? You get the raw data, unorganized, unstructured. You just need to, clean it so that it's workable for you to achieve whatever you want to achieve, right? And that is that. So to get this session recording, please, in order for us to complete, or to familiarize ourselves with what we've done in today's session, kindly go to the chat box. Kindly go to the chats. Go to the chats for those of us who have access. I guess all of us have access to the chat. Please go to the chat and click on the link that you currently have. Click on the link you currently have to submit your detail. Click on the link that you currently have. So I hope those of us who haven't downloaded, we try to use the link that I'll be sending and download, and as well try to join the session early enough tomorrow, so that, let's say, 15 minutes to the start time. I'll be on the call from 3:30. From that 3:30, please, you can join if you have problem, installing Power BI. You can join the session, and let's say we use 2 minutes or 3 minutes to finish. You can log off and rejoin back by 3:50 or 3:55, because we won't wait tomorrow. At this point, I don't know if there's any question. Okay, said done. All right, so please, those of us who are not yet done with what I sent on the chat, please, let's endeavor to complete that. Let's endeavor to click on the link and complete that. So at this point, I don't know if there's any question pertaining to what I disclosed to us today. I wanted to skip what I just disclosed to us today, but it won't be good, because at the long run, if you get the technical skills without what we've done today, right, without a proper understanding, I don't think that you will go far or you go anywhere with or the skills that you've gotten at the course of this training would be of great value to you, so we just need to disclose this, because it's very important that you have a working knowledge of this, right? So you can always go through the recording, and as such, we've come to the end of the session. See you guys tomorrow. Please endeavor you join early tomorrow, because we'll be looking at data preparation. There's no much talking tomorrow. Tomorrow is just the practical, aspects. So I don't know if there's any question, any comments. Please, let's unmute our mic and say one or two things. I know some of us joined and we're going off and on, but you can just unmute your mic and say one or two things before we log off. We'll call it a day. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. We so much appreciate your efforts to impact knowledge. I'm really grateful, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
All right, thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, any question? For those of us who weren't able to. Okay, go ahead, please.
I want to ask, would there be probably a follow-up check on performances after the end of the sessions?
End of the session or end of the training, the whole training?
End of the whole training.
Okay, end of the whole training. At the end of the whole training, right, I have a challenge for us, right, for which we need to complete. And once you complete, post it on LinkedIn. I don't know how many of us are on LinkedIn. For those of us who are on LinkedIn, please, let's try, carry out those challenge and post it. So LinkedIn is one great platform that you can, leverage on to gain insight and advance your career, right? So there will be, I'll be giving us a challenge which we'll need to complete, and I will communicate that via email in the session and via email. That's to deliver a question, and there will be a reminder with regards to that. And for those of us who might have one or two challenge, trying to carry out the, who might have one or two, challenge trying to carry out the tasks, or try to complete the assignment, please, you can always reach out to me. Now, this is my challenge. Let me just say this. I've been doing this thing for a very long time, right? And for the past few months, right, some group of person, to God be the glory, they got employment. Now, let me just say this. The attitude for which they exhibited, I don't know, during the training wasn't encouraging, but I don't look at that aspect in the sense that you give tasks, they don't complete, right? You give assignment, they don't comply. They keep on giving one or two excuses, it's fine. I'm not in their calendar to know how their schedule looks like, right? But it's insofar as you have something at heart, you must create time. Nobody have time. Nobody have time. People create time for what they want. I believe that what you want is what you create time for, right? So oftentimes I find out that this set of people keep on reaching out to me. Oh, they have this challenge trying to do. To an extent, there's one I saw that a guy that attended my Power BI training as well as Excel training got an employment recently and tried connecting to a data set, and that data set, like, okay, yeah, this guy based in Abuja though, that data set was very dirty, very, very dirty. And the person tried to carry out the report. Immediately I saw it, I was like, you can't achieve this now. How come? You are a data analyst, you are a Power BI analyst, like you work with Power BI and you want to analyze these data sets and you haven't even done anything with regards to data cleaning, and you want to, how is that possible? So I just needed to refer and try to help out and the like. But this is something that the person would have literally, get the skills, and as such won't be faced with such challenge. So I just want to encourage us, please, let's try as much as we can to ensure that we carry out this activity, because you never can tell when you will need all these things. Tomorrow you'll be opportune to get a job and you start looking for the recordings and try to practicalize, go back to it, and because you never, give in your time. I know that we all have busy schedule, but let's just try. I encourage us. See you tomorrow. We've ended the session anyway. I said we'll be ending the session 3:30 and 3:29. I ensure that I ended the session, so I'm just still talking. So for those of us who are still here, please let's endeavor to click on the link and fill out what we have there, and we can log off. Thank you for coming to the session. Hoping or looking forward to seeing you in tomorrow's session. Thank you. I will still be here for the next 3 minutes max. If there's any question, please go ahead to ask me. I'll just be closing all my tabs currently because I need to kick off to somewhere. All right, thank you. You can unmute your mic and say bye before you go. Right.
All right, thank you, sir. It was an interesting session.
All right, thank you. Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow, early enough. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Great having you in the session today. I'm looking forward to seeing you all tomorrow. I'll be ending the session in next 20 seconds. All right, bye. Hello, we are ending the session now. Thank you all for attending. See you tomorrow. Thank you and bye for now.